You guys, I'm AnuBis. Welcome to today's my video. I'm gonna break down how to fully customize your weapon in DeltaForceMobile. Just how you like it. Trust me, I get it, this menu looks kinda wild at first glance. You might hop into the calibration screen and be like, bro, what even is all this? Then you dive into the loadout menu, hit details, and what do these even do? What's up with this control chart? And these numbers in the handling, stability, and accuracy menus, what do they even do? If you don't understand this stuff, you'll end up building a gun that can't kill a fly. But don't sweat it in this video. I'm breaking down how to customize any weapon in the game. Doesn't matter if it's an assault rifle, SMG, LMG, or sniper. This guide's got you covered. So if you're curious about DeltaForceMobile and want to get good at this game, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Now, how do you actually customize a weapon in DeltaForceMobile? Let's dive in. Okay, let's choose a weapon for this task. I've selected the M4 for this job. Let's start by unequip it down completely and then proceed step by step. The first thing you need to do with any weapon in the game, when it's completely bare, is go into the details and check the control section. This is where you'll find the weapon's recoil pattern. The recoil pattern of a weapon is affected by the modifications you make to it with specific attachments. Specific attachments can compress it vertically and horizontally, smoothing out that ugly curve, those ugly horizontal recoil kicks you see in the pattern. So, each weapon's pattern is different. Some are uglier than others, and this helps you understand what you need to do with the weapon. Fortunately, the M4 has a nice soft curved pattern. I'll start with the optic based on my preference, using the panorama red dot. You can use whichever one you like. Then, I'll calibrate it. Using these levers, you can adjust it, so open it up and see how much you prefer. So, this is the first step. Now, for the second step, I like to start with the barrel. The reason is that the barrel is really the cornerstone of your build. It determines what your setup will be used for. Choose your barrel. In DeltaForce, particularly with ours, I've noticed that picking a barrel with the longest range and highest muzzle velocity helps a lot because it allows you to hit targets more easily at range. As you know, DeltaForce has extremely long-range gunplay, so muzzle velocity and range will definitely contribute to that, as well as control stability. The handling and accuracy take a significant hit. What this means is that when you attach certain parts, you can go into the calibration menu and fine-tune it. You can add positive or negative effects. For example, you could increase firing stability by +4%, but in exchange, you'd get a 4% penalty to a DS movement speed for this weapon. Now you'll notice there's a trade-off here. For most weapons, especially FATO class guns, I believe you should maximize muzzle velocity and shooting stability, you can compensate for a DS speed elsewhere. And honestly, a DS movement speed isn't that crucial in this game. Alright, we've chosen our barrel now. This is where the balancing act of weapon building comes into play. Go into the loadout menu, dive into the details, and take a look at what's being affected. Right now, our recoil is bottom right, and our pattern is less aggressive. You could say this pattern is shorter, meaning your recoil is more manageable. Handling seems to have taken a hit. Yeah, a DS speed isn't great. But stability? That's gotten much better. The real question is, what do these specific stats actually do? Damage. This is your damage range. As you can see, the M4 deals 20 damage up to 30 meters, then drops off. Control covers your recoil multipliers, horizontal, vertical, recoil smoothness, shooting stability, all that. Handling relates to reload speed, a DS speed, sprint to fire delay, and other movement-related factors. Stability. This is a crucial stat. It affects how much your recoil is reduced when holding your breath. Yes, it's a multiplier. Extremely important. It also includes flinch resistance, which helps you stay in fights when you're getting shot at. In this game, you will flinch, so having high stability is incredibly valuable. Stability also helps with movement sway, keeping your sight steadier when you're on the move. Accuracy, this one can be misleading. Accuracy only affects hipfire spread. You could zero out your accuracy stat, and if you're using a DS, you'll still beam people at 100 meters. Now, let's talk about balancing. As I mentioned earlier, there are going to be some significant trade-offs here. The next step is to choose a laser slot. This directly relates to your playstyle, and you'll need to decide for yourself whether you need a laser or not. Personally, I prefer using a laser, and I like to mount it on the side rail rather than the top. Here's why. If you put it on the top rail, you'll notice it blocks part of my sight picture. You can see it's right in front of my optic. That's why I prefer mounting it on the side. What does the laser actually do? Improves hipfire accuracy and boosts the DS speed. Another thing I want to add to the weapon is which magazine to use for this gun. So I won't use the 60-round drum magazine because it's not worth it. Since I've noticed that before using 60 bullets I reload the magazine again. So the 45-round magazine is definitely an excellent exception. Now I'll look at its disadvantages to compensate for these drawbacks elsewhere. Make sure to equip the magazine mount for better handling. Now we want to do a mid-structure review. Now let's take a look at what we've built. The weapon's recoil is good and still looks very good. The handling is very weak. The stability also looks good, but actually it's gotten a bit worse than before. And its accuracy, as I said, isn't very important. You can still shoot at the enemy. So it seems we just need to deal with its handling and stability and make sure we don't mess everything up. The next thing we need to do is come here and examine the stock grip. This is where you need to understand where your weapon structure stands, which is why I emphasize paying attention to details you'll see for yourself. As I mentioned, we need stability and handling, and we shouldn't alter control. And finally, we'll get to the muzzle. For the rear grip, you have many options. You have excellent handling grips that are really useful in some models. You have GPS, which is the new attachment system that gives you a grip base. And you know exactly there are few pure positive grips. But you know that's not the case. We're not looking for pure positives, okay? We want the absolute best for these weapons. As I said, we need stability, a very important state. I'll equip this grip, and it might not look perfect, but rest assured we'll calibrate it for better control. The reason I'm calibrating it for more control is that increased control is a constant advantage for the weapon, while aiming stability while breathing is only useful when shooting. Now, the breathing stability is already excellent, so there's no need to increase it further. As I said, we need stability, so here we found stability. But you'll notice the weapon's handling gets ruined. Now what do we need for handling? Let's go to the foregrip. There are many attachments here. The weapon's stability during firing looks excellent. Horizontal control, horizontal firing stability. This attachment is really fantastic. But if we return to the weapon's recoil pattern, it doesn't really need horizontal control. You see, as you can observe, the pattern is softening and becoming completely vertical, so we don't need a horizontal recoil attachment either. We don't need this big thing either, because it ruins handling stability. We need more handling, so here we find a good handling attachment. This gives everything. So we want to equip it and then calibrate it. We'll calibrate it for faster AD speed. Now, it somewhat compensates for the control we previously calibrated, but it's still completely positive. So we come here and calibrate it for movement stability. You're going to move and shoot a lot in this game. Movement stability is extremely important, and is a constant advantage for your weapon during use. Alright, let's take a look at what we've done. Well, the weapon's recoil looks excellent. Handling has improved significantly. Stability is superb. We're making progress and not ruining anything. You're probably wondering, what about the muzzle? What about these? Don't worry, we'll get to those too. Let's go to the stock and stock kits. When you look at stock kits, you'll notice you lose the rear grip and also lose calibration. So in reality, you lose not only the rear grip's calibration capability, but the stock itself too. Therefore, in my opinion, these stock kits, considering this matter, are almost never worth it. Let's move to the stock. As I said before, we need handling without too much twisting. We need handling and stability and everything else without too much excessive twisting. For this build, I decided to use this skeleton sniper stock. Yes, this is a sniper stock, but it gives us amazing handling and amazing stability. Screw accuracy has increased slightly and dot control has changed a bit, but later, as you'll see, we'll compensate for it. So we'll install it and calibrate it again. Our control has almost returned to where it was, and then we'll calibrate this to compensate for what we've just lost. Now you can take action for a DS movement speed, but it's not really useful. I prefer to compensate for the negative I applied, so that's what I did. Let's shoot with the weapon without these attachments and see what we need. Do you see how vertically bouncy it is? Even if it has high control and stability, there is an important feature you should pay attention to when upgrading your weapons, and it is in the weapon's muzzle. Vertical shooting scope stability is good, and also vertical shooting stability. See what effect this single attachment has on the weapon. Did you see this? Let me remove it and show you again. Do you see the very big difference this single attachment has made? It's really essential. Just for this reason, we're starting with this topic that's now excellent. I mentioned there are grip attachments that offer these same advantages, but if you look at grip attachments, they actually disrupt your horizontal control, while the muzzle doesn't do this. Don't you see this? So this is a very important distinction. So now that we have this, what we need to do is use these small attachments to compensate for what's ultimately lacking in the weapon. So control is good, handling is good, and you know it's very controllable. Don't always be discouraged by red arrows. If you really look at it, it's not that negative, and it has a controllable appearance. Look. Always go and feel the weapon. You know what's happened. So considering you know the stability here is incredible, you know the 26 flinch coefficient. When shooting with this weapon, your weapon doesn't move. The movement stability is excellent. When moving with it, its sight barely moves. So with this said, for these small attachments, we're just stacking control to reduce the weapon's recoil. This way, you can customize weapons in this game however you like, and you can apply this build method to different types of weapons. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button again and subscribe to the channel. I'll put this loadout code in the description and show you another build just so you can see this thought process applies to other weapons too. If you don't know how to use the loadout code, from the loadout section and from this part, by touching here, paste the code you've copied here, and from this part you can share your loadout code by hitting the copy button. And the final tip, if you want this skin, select the weapon you like and get 300 kills with it, and the skin will unlock automatically for you. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. I'll make other exclusive builds. See you in the next video.